Thanks to Amaran for sponsoring this video.
All right, we are back. All right, we are back doing another studio tour, and we are in. You might recognize this shot. We're in the studio of Austin.
Hello. This angle's designed for me. You're too tall.
I mean, I think I'm an appropriate height, and the shot.
No!
The shot.
You're too tall.
Why are you using a prime lens on your main camera? Over
Okay,
there?
so
zoom it out. Zoom
Why?
it out. So that
No!
so this doesn't happen.
Okay. Here's the thing. This set was designed for people who are 6'1" and below, and I am just slightly below.
Yeah, you look good in your shot.
Yeah, exactly. It's Austin height. Everything. So here's the thing. The studio that we are in right now has very low ceilings. And because we have all this truss and everything, we're super limited on height.
He's already starting with the excuses, and we haven't really started the tour yet. This is still the
see,
introduction.
you brought the clipboard.
I didn't pick it up yet. This is still just the introduction.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Austin Evans, right? That's what you're still calling your channel?
That is still my name.
Okay.
I haven't changed it yet.
We are shooting on the Sony Alpha 1. This is for our camera. We'll talk about your gear in a minute. And we have the 16-25 f2.8, that new little smaller one.
It's so small.
And it's small. And also, audience, if you want to send your love Patrick Tomaso's way, this is not Patrick Tomaso in the camera. Unfortunately, Patrick suffered an injury, something on his e-bike. But put some in the comments that's like, Patrick, get better, we love you, whatever. Especially if this guy I've got using the camera now does a terrible job, then again, Patrick, please come back, whatever.
We miss you.
Audio-wise,
Yes.
this is going to be both my audio, but also what we're doing, because you use something similar anyway. Right now I'm using the Sennheiser MKE2s. MKE2, I said MKE. It's a new letter.
MKEHD.
That's another story for another day.
MKE2 Labs. I'm going to the Rode Wireless Pros. You normally use MKE2s as well, and
Yes,
you're
we
going
use
to AVX, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we use the exact same mic, but we actually record via the AVX into a MixPre 3.
And my last little message to either camera is that this video is brought to you by Amaran, which I think will be an easy integration.
If you look up, you'll see a few.
But we'll get to that in a second. Okay, so why don't we start here with what's going on this camera.
So this is a Sony FX3 with a Sigma 50mm, I think it's a 1.4.
Okay.
This is an old EF lens that I've had forever, but as I think
it's EF, are you adapting it?
Yeah. That, I think we have a couple of adapters. I don't remember if that's the speed booster. I think it's the Sigma adapter.
We've got 3 cameras. We've got, I guess, A, B is a, what do you guys use this one for mostly? Like tights on a product or something? Or?
Yeah. It's also, I refer to that one a lot.
And then you've got an overhead.
Yes, and we have an FX3 using a, I always forget, it's like 28. It's while we...
Patrick, please come back.
And while that C-cam is useful for the table, really quickly we'll pull that out because a lot of times we'll rotate this around. We shot a video yesterday where we had the table all the way over here and we pull like tripods and stuff.
Who shot
in.
a video yesterday?
We shot a great video where we built a very premium YouTuber setup compared to one that was a little bit more budget oriented in mind.
Basically, go to Austin's channel. I don't know when I'm posting this video, but it'll probably be similarly to when you posted your
Hopefully,
video.
yeah.
That was really fun, by the way. Thanks for
It
having
was
me.
super fun. But that's part of the reason why we sort of built the set like this. So we have a lot of flexibility. Pretty much all the stuff can be flown out. We can move it around. I refer to that camera a lot, even though this is like sort of our A cam. We can get it nice and close to the actual table. That's actually FX30 in Allura. So this is the 18-80, which is Super 35 glass. Dude, this lens is really nice though. Like this is the most expensive piece of gear, one of the most expensive pieces of gear that we've ever purchased.
What made you want to switch to, FX series cameras? Or whatever?
The red just didn't work at the time. It just was not consistent enough for us. And that was around the time where, A7S III was coming out, obviously FX3, FX30, like those
Where like the mirrorless cameras were getting good enough.
Exactly, yeah. And like it was to the point where like no one could really tell the difference.
Have you been leveraging the autofocus other than on this one? Like are the other ones just autofocus all the time? Or?
So none of the when we shoot handheld, we run autofocus. None of these cameras run autofocus. So the A cam is just set. So it's.
Is that because you're not quite like comfortable autofocus because you were, or like do you not?
Nothing ever moves. So because I'm always standing behind the table, we've got like, I don't know, this much that's actually in focus, and I never really step outside of that.
That explains why you're using a DSLR lens then, because if you were using a mirrorless lens, every time you turn the camera on and off or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. So it's just, literally we touch that lens almost never, because that A cam is meant to never be used. Or sorry, never meant to be.
My A cam is never meant to be used.
Never meant to be moved. So that just stays there. But the B cam is really what gives us sort of the energy. And again, half the videos we shoot in here, we don't use any of these 3. We just do handheld A7.
It looks like you've got a whole truss rail system going on. And
When we first moved in here, we thought we could tear out a lot of this drop ceiling.
Yeah.
But then Fire Code said no. But basically, it's essentially a box around the room. And what we did is we sort of built these little like truss covers so that you can't quite see
that is.
them as
I
much.
honestly didn't even think about it. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, they look great.
And that's where all the cables are run too. So we've got obviously everything running through like DMX and whatnot. So we can kind of all be hidden in from like our normal angles. You don't really notice. Obviously, if you look up, but we tried to use all these vines to kind of cover it up as much as we can.
Kind of like TV lighting, basically. You've emulated it with these Amaran fixtures, but it almost kind of reminds me of like a sky panel array.
These are all LED fixtures in here. So mostly the F21s. We do have.
Are they all Cs?
Yes, all of the
Yeah.
Amarans are Cs.
C
no, there's
meaning
one
that
more
it's
over here.
full
There's a-
color, so they could that splash on the wall could have been blue or purple, or whatever you
Can we
want.
play with the board?
So you're doing all your light control.
We have just a ton of different presets.
Woo! Yo!
So we
I'll
have
stand here.
just almost any combination of color. This is our our interrogation.
It's good. It's good. Can we do red alert? Just prepare your eyes because it gets.
Okay.
We got a letter of R and no GB.
All right. Oh wow.
It's not nice to look at.
We walked into your dark room. All of a sudden, you know? It's great, and you're also using your little airplane. What do they call it? Airline cable or whatever for
There are
for
earthquakes
safety.
in California, man.
Like, they got safety precautions in place. I
Yeah.
can see. I can appreciate it. Good job.
I mean, I hung 0 of them, but
Again, like to kind of plug Amaran a little bit. You guys are using, rather than a bunch of Skype. I mean, all these were Skype panels. What it done to your checkbook or whatever?
a lot.
But the F21s, they seem to be adequately filling that role
phenomenal.
for much cheaper.
Yes.
And how was the DMX experience? Like,
pretty easy. They have the little dongles.
Yeah, the F21s don't have DMX natively.
so you just had to get a little dongle, and then now
A dongle per light.
per light, yeah, obviously,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But still, you're only adding, what did you say, $20-$30 to the fixture?
Yeah, I have lost years of my life trying to design this.
You did a great job. But I think that's actually a pretty good plug for Amaran because I think I often push them, and they're pushing themselves too, as being like more content creator focused, more affordable, whatever. But you can also build out essentially a TV set and put a couple dongles on them, send them to DMX board, and you're still cruising at a much better budget.
And we don't even come close to pumping these. They're like 20%. Like there's so much more.
Put them full tilt. Let's blow some breakers.
We didn't do the power calculations for 100%.
There's one thing I noticed, Austin, that I thought that you were kind of lacking here. This is for you.
Oh, thank you.
I think I can improve your setup dramatically.
Thank you.
It's a lot prettier than it was.
Oh,
a second ago.
why is it in standard def now? I'm just kidding.
I was like, it says UHD right there. You had me worried.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
These are wonderful, and you look incredibly happy. I feel like you got your thumbnail face on this package. That's it. I saw this in the store. I'd just buy 3 immediately.
That was the thing. Either you'd buy it or you'd be offended by it. Okay, so clearly, you have me in the, what did we call it earlier? The flagship room or
So
something
this
like
is
that?
Studio B. And there's a reason why it's not A.
How is the flagship in Studio B?
'Cause it's not the biggest studio.
These letters don't make any sense.
No.
You barely use your A cam. The flagship setup is in Studio B.
I always think B. No, each studio is named based on the size.
I would like to say that this setup is great. It's
No clipboard notes?
I honestly I don't have much to say. When you think I'm listening to you, I'm actually looking to see are all your sandbags where they're supposed to be and stuff. So I like that you have conveniently placed gaff tape.
Yeah, we use that all the time to cover up like addresses on like boxes and stuff.
It doesn't look like you completely respect the wood, but
No.
other than that,
We've lit things on fire with this, so if we leave Studio B,
Is this so I give you a favorable review?
it is, yeah. It's worth slightly more than the Canadian rupee equivalent.
Rupee.
So this is Studio.
This is Studio.
This is Studio.
So you have if anybody doesn't know, because I honestly didn't know you had another channel for a long time. You have, I guess you kind of have 3 that
we
operate
have
under
3 channels that run out of this office, yes.
here, which are Austin Evans.
Austin Evans, This Is, and Danky.
And Danky's channel was sort of an offshoot from used to be working on the main channel.
Exactly.
And then, right.
The main channel we do unboxings, reviews, goofy projects and whatnot. In here, we're pretty much always on the big SM7Bs. And I say it's a podcast. We actually don't post it anywhere as a podcast. It is just a YouTube show.
But it has a podcast vibe. I get it.
Podcast vibe, yeah, like 15-minute episodes. We do news. We do like games.
Here, let's sit in your chairs.
We can pretend that these microphones are attached to
Like,
something.
oh, those SM7Bs, they don't have the
body.
Yeah, exactly.
This set was designed in a different building for a different place, but it was designed to also just be sort of plug and play over here.
Right.
We had to make a couple of tweaks once we actually moved over, but essentially you can see it's sort of a weird truss situation where like this is all square, but then you've got these two like sort of legs on this side which kind of have to poke out. It's mostly because we had to build it for that old space.
Everything I've seen so far, though, seems extremely like detailed and well planned. It looks good. It looks really good. I can see on the monitor. It looks good. Are you using similar gear? It looks like FX cameras again.
Yep.
Seems like you try to consolidate, like roll out the same idea.
It's pretty much all the same. So there's 3 FX3s in here, as well as we have an FX30 over on that side, mostly just to save a little bit of money because that's just the producer cam on that.
Are you switching cameras or?
No. We don't do any of the switching. We don't.
It's all done in edit.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's all recorded in the log as well. But we just have a couple LUT boxes floating around here.
Cool.
And we dump everything to the servers.
Another immaculate room.
Maybe we should go to a. You know what? You've got your expectations set pretty high now. Maybe we should go look at some.
It's all downhill from here. All right, take the lead.
Alrighty, my friend. So this is our inventory. So we have, as you can probably guess, a lot of stuff. Now Joanna does an amazing job of keeping things nice and organized. So
It looks like it, yeah.
it's we've got, all kinds of stuff. So we've got boxes of keyboards. We've got like handheld gaming stuff. We've got
Labeled.
monitors. Yes, all inventory too. So pretty much everything should have an actual like inventory label on it.
This is what I can tell by looking at this.
Yeah.
Okay? As somebody who suffers from similar. Somebody has set this up so that all the bins are equally distant from the front of the rack and also from each other. But then other people are coming in and kind of messing it up a little bit. And I have a feeling that whoever set this up originally is annoyed by that and periodically might walk by and kind of like line it up. Is that true?
I can neither confirm nor deny that is the absolute fact.
Are your racks evenly spaced from each other
They're
too?
actually not, but they're kind of close.
They look pretty close.
We've added a lot of racks over the last couple of years, but these are all like
Look at this.
consoles.
Look at this.
Look at this. Yeah, well. Would you look at that?
Even what are these, PS4s or?
There's 3s, 4s, 5s.
Even the PS4s are like pretty well lined up, pretty well spaced, it's good.
Thank you. This actually wasn't the original plan. So this area was actually going to be.
Why are you living in the past?
This was the original plan, and it is absolutely perfect.
It's a strange form of modesty where every time I say you're doing something well, you're like, you should have seen it before.
It was, no, you should have seen it before. It was really bad. It's nice in here. It's nice and clean and
What's
organized.
this station over here?
So this is where inventory is done.
Okay.
So basically everything gets logged in using this Surface.
I love this. I love that you have an inventory system in a YouTube studio. It's fantastic. Somehow you're like tapped into like my weird pleasures where I'm like, I like how everything, I see you busted out a label maker multiple times. You got an inventory system. I feel like there's probably some spreadsheets that exist that I would love to look at.
Multiple spreadsheets, where each item is, who took it, and who's about to get in trouble because they forgot to bring it back. A whole deal.
You're definitely going to get some positively biased marks from me because you're
That's all I
tapping into
wanted.
all my weird pleasures. Okay, show me something bad though. Let's go.
Something bad?
Yeah.
Well, this is the Denki studio.
You just got lit up.
I don't have as much of the gear that they do, but if I turn on the house lights,
Yeah.
this is the Denki studio. So this used to be 2 rooms, and then we knocked down a wall.
You guys in your used to be's, eh?
Yeah. You know where they come from.
So Ken runs the Denki channel.
Yep.
Denki is a little bit more of the older school YouTube approach of doing more reviews, sort of retrospectives and stuff. And it is a little bit, there's no trust in here.
But I can just come in, shoot the video, just flip a few switches, hit a few buttons, and just have something fully shot in like an hour.
We don't have Ken mic'd at all. So either I'll be using the on-camera mic, or I'll just be, the MK2's are pretty good, actually,
Yeah.
somebody's next door.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to hear the room a little bit, and you kind of complained about not being able to expand your ceilings, but it's actually created an okay little vibe in here. You want to do you clap for me. It's pretty dead, right?
Not bad, right?
Yeah,
Is that
it used to be worse. We had hardwood floors in here. and
Used
my
to be.
editor- Yeah, used to be.
This is the used to be crew,
It's all,
right?
it's all the trauma we had to deal with before.
Rocking FX cameras again.
Yeah.
I think it's not like, oh, FX cameras are the best, but if you're going to use some, keep it consistent. It just makes the workflow easier.
So a lot of what Denki does is we mix and match footage between what I shoot, maybe some B-roll will end up in an Austin Evans video.
So it's so much easier if it's all the same.
Mixing all the same cameras, FX3, FX30, super easy. In fact, this FX30 kind of the mini version of the pedestal camera that's over there.
Yeah.
The Fujinon lens.
Totally.
We used to work together with them.
That was
Right.
literally the old setup. Was we had an FS7 and that 18-55, and so a lot of the gear has been sort of like passed down over the years as we sort of upgraded to this and that. But that's the main reason we use the FX30s.
The FX30 would be convenient then for you guys because you have these APS-C
Exactly.
Cine Glass you can just
Yep.
use. That's great.
It's so good, but obviously no autofocus. But
And then more Amaran F21s and stuff.
F21, 300X.
Yeah.
I got a GVM light in the corner there, but we can ignore that
Yeah,
one.
we won't talk about that. What you have there is an opportunity to have another Amaran light.
that's you know what?
That's an
Well,
opportunity.
I got the-
How are you recording? Are you recording on the cameras?
Yeah, so I actually manually stand up and hit record on all of them.
Poor thing.
I know.
He manually stands up as opposed to automatically standing up. And I see you got ND on the window.
Yeah, we love these things to death. We had them in our old studio. That's one of the positive things for the old studio.
Okay.
Was especially if we just pan the camera that way. Outside looks great.
I think I'm gonna need to come back and do a tour in a couple of years when you guys have let go of the old studio.
We can let you know what traumas we moved away from.
So we come over to this side. This is our gear cage, which is actually not very full.
Okay.
Because most gear lives in the studios.
You guys set this up. This is not how you normally keep things.
Okay, please illuminate me. What are we doing wrong?
Audience, am I right to be suspicious now? Like every single thing that we've been to is like immaculately.
You're trying to insinuate that we knew you were coming and tried to tidy
This is like
things?
those AD videos where the person's like, "Oh, I love limes."
I love limes. I love them.
Last night you had a crew come in and like,
If I'm honest with you, it actually does normally look like this. Like pretty much. Like 'cause we
well
don't
done.
pull this stuff very often. So
you don't need to downplay it. Well done. It's well organized and it's very easy to very quickly. If you just start setting things down randomly,
Yeah.
then you have a giant pile of things.
Yeah.
Everything in its right place.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. And this is really the main shelf that we use. So our A7s live here, and that's like sort of the main camera that we use. To we have the A7S 3s. 16-35 is like our main lens that we use when we're doing handheld stuff. Oh my god, dude, the C100. The first time, so I used to shoot on Nikon.
You mean the red?
200. Too soon. But the first time that I got to use the C100, I was like, oh my god, NDs built into a camera.
Getting boring. How good of a job you guys are doing in this studio.
I left some jank for you.
Look at this too. I mean, even all the little like odds and sod grip gear is in nice little buckets. This is my system too, and I hate it so much.
It's not good, right?
I hate it. I said I got a triple dangler for SSDs coming hot off the Ninja, and you don't know which one's which when they're plugged in.
Yes.
It's like
The thing
okay.
is, it was
And
a
if
lot.
one doesn't detect, you're doing a lot of
all
like,
the
you're like,
plugging.
what the hell, like.
It was worse when it was all ProRes too, because like you start one after the other. Now that it's H.265, they dump in like 2 minutes. But before you started transferring, you realize one dropped out, and you don't want to touch any of them until like 30 minutes after the transfer's done.
Even if you plug a new one in, somehow like cancels your transfers or whatever.
Yes. So this is Studio A,
Oh, okay.
the biggest studio we have.
I have a
by far.
feeling this is not going to make any sense that you called it Studio A.
It is going to make lots of sense when you see how big it is. So after you, my friend.
Okay. Yeah, there's no studio in here. What are you talking- It's Studio F. There's nothing going on in
So
here.
this will be Studio A eventually.
Okay.
This is by far the biggest space that we have.
So we've seen where they hide all the disorganization and the garbage or whatever.
That's exactly it.
This is what happened. All this stuff was out there last week.
No.
And they're like, Gerald's coming quick. It's like hoofed it in. It was
actually-
all lit with these fluorescent tubes a hot minute ago or whatever. Just like throwing bulbs in there. This room is probably filled with mercury gas or whatever.
A little bit. So basically, we're going to split this room into half. And this is going to be...
Hey, we're finally talking about future.
Future! Exclusive, not 2017 stuff. Basically, we're going to split this room into half and basically build two mini studios, and basically we're going to have the actual cameras live in the middle. So basically it can
So
be...
not physically split in two, just
Yes.
like just demarcated or whatever. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
We didn't really mention it much, but we're in, I guess, like a sort of an office building.
Yeah.
And this is all one floor in the office
one
building. I don't know, what's the square footage of one of the floors?
Each floor is about 6,500 square feet.
And you have 2 floors?
2 floors, yeah. So basically the way we have it set up is that all production happens upstairs, everyone works downstairs. So
Right.
all the noise, all that kind of stuff is downstairs, and there's no attached walls of the building, so like it's actually, hopefully you've noticed, pretty quiet. There's not a
Well,
lot of
smart
cars.
shooting upstairs instead of downstairs.
Exactly, 'cause, like-
Ain't got no stompers.
Yeah, you can definitely notice people like stomping around when you're downstairs.
Right.
Because there's a lot of stuff in between the floors, like air conditioning units and nonsense, but you can definitely hear like that kind of stuff.
It's just a smart play.
Yeah.
All right, get out of this one's boring.
Okay, so this is meant more so as like a flexible space. So all of this stuff can kind of like rotate around. But basically, I'm always sitting on this stool. We have our A7, our other A7 here. Most of the time, we're doing scripted stuff in here.
Okay.
So we've got the prompter on the camera, and I'm telling you about why Deal Dash is a scam, or I'm telling you about a new laptop, or whatever the case is. But this whole thing basically kind of gets rotated around every time we have another project.
Yeah.
And we shoot in this room a lot more lately. So we're shooting here a couple times a week for, even sometimes we'll do like a scripted like conclusion of a video or something like that.
I'm telling you, this Amaran integration is just the easiest one of all time.
use
Every room is loaded with
so
Amaran. Everybody's using these lights for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, and they're buying so many of them for a reason, and it's.
I couldn't even tell you how many we have. I mean, you can tell, especially with the little guys. Like the S21s are everywhere in this office, but they're so useful. We've got like some of the 150s in the back, or 150Cs, sorry, in the back. We have some of the tubes down here. We got this guy on this custom-built table. Actually, this is, I don't know.
And that is the cool thing about the Amaran lights, is that a lot of them are full color, like a lot of them.
Yes.
And for creators, full color is very convenient to have.
This is props.
Okay.
So we keep a bunch of random stuff in here, honestly. So this guy,
That's creepy.
this baby is 150 years old.
Have you ever used it in a video?
Yeah. That's what everything was from a video. How do you feel about being one of the cool TikTokers? I don't know if it's gonna fit, but you can give it a
It's
try.
like if Blade Runner was lame, that this would be this. What the hell is this?
So this is a reproduction of some designer made like a keyboard jacket, and then this is like the AliExpress knockoff or whatever of it. You look good, man.
All right. Should I wear this for the rest of the tour?
It'll get real hot. I'll tell you, it's heavy, right?
It is heavy, yeah.
Yeah, and none of those are pockets too. They're just really big and.
Also, I don't have any dexterity. I don't have a good clipboard hand anymore.
It may not be your size. Linus helped us build our first server like in 2016, and he lives in our server room every day. So we have, this one is an all SSD server, so this is what all the editors actually work off of via 10 gig Ethernet. We have an archive server, which is 300 terabytes of hard drives, which is where we keep stuff for if we want to pull up old B-roll, all that kind of stuff. And this does backups. So basically, every night it images what's on our active projects, puts it on here so we have a 5-day rolling backup. But what we do have is an LTO tape drive.
I want to give points to the fact that it looks sick, like the organization and stuff like that, and also archival reasons.
So I'll tell you, we had a complete server failure about a year ago. And I have still been slowly working through using the LTO to build the old like B-roll backlogs, all that kind of stuff. So basically, every video, as soon as we're done with it, the entire thing, A-roll, B-roll, project file, the whole thing, lands on 2 copies of LTO, one that's here, one that lives off-site.
If there's viewers who aren't into this side of things and like, what are these guys talking about? Believe it or not, you can still use, what would we call them? Data tapes, I guess. And you can record data to tape, not dissimilar than cassette tapes. And for archival purposes, they're excellent because you don't really want to cold store a hard drive on a shelf for, what are these good for, 10 years, longer?
50 years.
50?
I believe it's 50 years, yeah. It's a minimum of 30, but I think that they're meant for like 50. And these are 12 terabytes. On top of that, they're like, the price has changed a lot. It's like $100 or something, $120. Like they're not, actually no, you know what? I think LTO 8 has actually come down a little bit. It actually may be a little close to like $80 a tape. So it's actually fairly economical. And the thing is, they're fast. You can actually get like 250, 300 megabytes a second off of this, but it's linear. Right. So you want to open it up in like Finder or Explorer, whatever, it'll work. But then if you want to pick a file, it has to spend half the tape to get there, and then you pull it off.
If you need to cold store data for a long ass time, tape is the way to do it.
100%, yeah. This is our edit den. So everyone's got the day off today. Then you were coming, no one wanted to see you.
That's right.
Everyone was very afraid. But this is where all of the editors work. So right now we have 5 full-time editors.
Everybody's got a pretty similar setup?
Yes, so we all use Final Cut.
Okay.
So because of that, everyone is using Apple Silicon. So almost all of the editors use 16-inch MacBook Pros. So they're all M1, so M1 Pros and Maxes.
As far as the workspace goes, it's got a decent vibe in here. You know, it seems pretty cozy, pretty calm, good air temperature.
Nice. We got the AC. So this was actually not the original edit den. So editors used to be on the other
See what
side.
I mean? You can't give the guy a compliment without being
No,
like,
no.
thanks. So before,
Yeah.
immediately.
We just built the space out like a year ago.
Well, I'm reviewing it now.
Thank
I'm
you.
not
I appreciate
traveling
that. I
through
appreciate
time.
that. Well, you saw what it was last year.
Yeah. It seems like a fine place to edit.
Wonderful. Thank you. The edit team actually built this for you. They built this for you.
Did they?
Yeah, so no one actually works at this desk.
Okay.
So they're very excited. They wanted to build this specifically because they're trying to bait you into roasting it, but I don't think you took the bait, so I just wanted to show you that they put a lot of effort into this.
Well, see, I figure when I know I have a character,
Yeah.
but I'm also just not mean to people I don't know.
Yeah, that's totally-
So it's like this might have just been somebody's favorite trinkets that like means something.
Someone's just a really big fan of Madden 06.
Who likes ducks? Morons, like that. That's not. Because somebody's like, that was my kid's favorite toy or whatever. Why is the guy so mean?
Look, everyone was expecting Gerald to come in and roast the setup. I don't know what to do now, just being all nice about it.
I will say, if somebody was like, what do you think of, none of these things mean anything to me, but do you think it design-wise looks good? I'd be like, no, it's absolutely terrible. What do you guys do with this random collection of things that makes no sense? You know what? I actually don't hate this duck. He's got a little personality, I don't hate it. So we're done.
We did it.
Here's your final score sheet.
Oh my God! Are you sure?
Yeah.
Is that real?
That's right. And
Thank you.
because you passed, I'll give you a little purple star.
I got a star!
I have to say, okay, jokes aside.
Yeah.
For real. Best studio. I didn't bring an award, so
Sure.
I don't have anything to give you. I gave you the star, but I gave everybody a star. Okay, fine, I'll tell you what. I'll give you 2 stars. First time ever. And not only 2 stars, the last star.
The last star!
Yeah.
Is this the end?
This is the end. Fantastic studio.
you.
This might be the first time that your audience, the audience of the person that I'm touring,
Yes.
will actually like me.
Because you were nice to me the whole time.
Because there are people like, I don't understand why this guy's going to Marquez's
mean.
studio and being mean to him for an hour or whatever. Marquez is so nice. All of the studios are immaculate. And even the space between. Organization, I got nothing to say. Yeah?
Like nothing at all?
Good job.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's shoot a thumbnail or something.
I got number 1!
Cut that out.
Okay, I didn't make it. Well, you know what?
You know what? Just when you thought you had
I was so close!
it. Is there a contractual obligation that if ever a YouTuber has a tool chest that it has to be a Husky tool chest? That is completely incorrect.
Where's the rest of Eugene? Where's the rest?
If there's one
Yeah.
guy that should be fire resistant to data or whatever, it's
Little
Austin
bit.
Face or whatever.
You want to sit on my chair?
Yo, that feels like tungsten.
That is Tungsten Cube, yep. Hey guys, it's Austin. Blah, 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 blah.
Did that
Pixel, blah, blah, blah.